Hey everyone, Mark and Julie, RVLove.com, just reaching out to you at 6 months. It's pretty exciting to think that it's already been 6 months, but we're reaching out. Yeah,
we made it.
We made it, and we're enjoying it.
We're still in one piece.
Yeah, so reaching out to you from Palm Springs, where it's beautiful. It's been 70s. We'll be in the pool again this weekend.
I don't know if you've already seen our video that we shared from our 3 months in back in September, but assuming you have, so we're going to mostly pick up where we left off on that and share the most significant changes that have happened for us in the last 3 months.
So the first thing that has changed is our camping membership. Initially when we started off, we were 1,000 Trails members, which is a nationwide camping membership, and they have about 80 campgrounds across the nation. And when we started off with that, we had what's called a zone pass, and that zone pass allowed us to have access to all the parks in a certain zone, like just a little area, and it allowed us to either go 4 days at a time and go straight into another one, or we could go 2 weeks in a time, but then had to stay out of the entire system for a week. And we gave that a try for the summer, and just kind of as a step into seeing how this goes. But it was a little exhausting, and when you try to do the 4 day,
Especially when we're working.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, if we were retired, I think that plan would work out really well. Or if you don't have to have the stability that I do, then that's great. But what we decided to do in the fall, right around the 3 month mark actually, we upgraded our membership to what's called an elite membership, and we'll talk more about this in a separate blog. But basically the difference is now we can stay up to 3 weeks at a time and then go straight back into the system for another 3 weeks, and it's nationwide access. So
and it's free.
And it's
Woo,
free.
we like that.
Our nightly fee is free. So we are currently in Palm Springs, beautiful Palm Springs, for 3 weeks for free. So
80-degree days,
Yeah.
thousands of palm trees, really nice, friendly people.
yeah, it's
Cool
awesome.
town.
And the most important thing about it for me, I think, is that I feel so much more settled. When I go into a campground and I know I've got my same spot, I've got my cell coverage dialed in, I've got everything, not gonna have to move, not have to drive. And it saves you on driving too, by the way, because you're not gonna have to drive around.
Which saves you on gas.
But I like it because it just makes it so much more calm for my work, and it gives us time in an area that really allows you to explore and see the area. So that's one of the big things.
On that note, we are in the midst of writing, or I'm in the midst of writing a blog post about that to go into a lot more detail, because I did a ton of research to determine whether or not that was the best solution for us and the different options, because there are seemingly about 1,000 with 1,000 trails. It's like 1,000 different kinds of membership, and we did decide that was the best solution for us. So stay tuned. That should be coming out sometime in January. If you subscribe to our email newsletters at RVLove.com, you'll get that in your inbox. The other big change that we've had, which again is related to your work and just making things easier for us, is technology. So we started out with a Verizon jetpack for our data, and we found that we were using about 40 gigs a month. I know for some of you that might sound like a lot, but remember, Mark works full time when I'm doing blog posts and videos and photo editing, and we like to stream things, but every month we're hitting up against it, and it was getting really stressful, feeling like we couldn't use the internet because we didn't want to run out of data before the end of the month. We had some changes take place on that in October, so now we have 2 jetpacks. So we actually now have one each. Mark's got his for work, and I've got mine for all of the writing, blogging, Skype and video calls with my coaching clients and with friends and family. So we also use that for streaming Netflix, which we weren't able to do before. So that's actually really exciting. I think one of the things we loved about this lifestyle, one of the, apart from saying hello to people passing by in golf carts, is being able to minimize and reduce our usage in general on things. But one of those things we didn't really like giving up too much of was internet data. That's something that's really high value for both of us. We actually, last week I just did a blog post on that, so again, if you want more detail on our technology setup for phones and for networks and Wi-Fi, what we do, how much it costs, it's all in detailed in our blog post on the website, how technology keeps us mobile.
One other big change, which you've probably seen if you've been following our blog, is that we lost our Coda, our baby girl. So that was very sad and very unexpected. And it was a huge impact to us because so much of our planning and travel and what we do every week is centered around making it happen for all three of us. You know, we wanted to go to places to go throw the ball for. We wanted to get into restaurants that had dog-friendly patios. We wanted to go places that, you know, again, that she can hike and she can welcome and that makes it work for all of us. And so that was a big part of our planning and what we did. And so that's been a big change for us. It's a big adjustment for us for sure. And she was a humongous part of our lives for a long time. In fact, that was a big part of why we chose this life, was that we could have her with us and still be traveling around and making the big change and exciting lifestyle, but with having her with us. And just so glad that we had the opportunity to have her with us during this 6 months, and that she was able to see so many exciting new things as a Colorado dog, seeing the beach, and was really fun. She just absolutely loved that, and so just really appreciative for the opportunity to share that with her.
And thank you to everyone too that emailed and put messages on Facebook and YouTube. So many of you reached out to us, that people, obviously many we know, but many we don't know, and that has been so touching and really, really has helped us as part of the healing process. It's really meant a lot to know that, you know, her life and adventure with us, you know, didn't just touch us, but it touched a lot of you as well. Very appreciated.
Yeah, thank you very much. And one final comment on that is that she was just another reminder to us all that none of us know how many tomorrows we have left. So it's, you know, just driving that message home that you've got to make the most of what you have, because you never know what you're going to get. So.
Thanks, Forrest.
Sure.
Another big thing that has been a change for us, a great change, is our community, and that was one of my big concerns when we left home, was leaving my community and network of friends. Yes, I've stayed in contact through technology and telephones, but having that, I'm an extrovert, Mark's an introvert, so having that interpersonal contact with people and getting to know people, and really in the last 3 months we've really noticed a difference in the kind of people that we've met. So one of the reasons is the Thousand Trails Network, because it's a member-based network of campgrounds. And by the way, we're not getting paid at all by Thousand Trails. I don't think they even know of us in our videos. They don't know us from, you know, Joe Blow, but this is just something that we're sharing because it's been valuable and useful for us, and we think it could be valuable and useful for you if this is the way you like to camp. But because it's a member-based campground, we'll often meet people in more than one campground. There's one couple we've run into, I think this was the 4th time we've bumped into them now at different campgrounds. Another couple of families with kids. Hello. We're doing this outside in public at our campground, so it's all good. This gives you a really good sense of what the lifestyle is like and how friendly everybody is. But we're also members of RVillage.com, which is like a social media network for RVers, and they've got over 10,000 members now, I think, last time I checked. And so when you check into a campground, it lets you know who else is in the campground. And we were in Monterey a few weeks ago, and we got an email from a couple that were just literally 2 rigs down from us, and they're like us, you know, about our age group, both professionals and working and no kids, and so we had a great evening with them. So
really nice,
it also just really shows the different people from different walks of life, couples, families, people working, people retired, people homeschooling kids. There's really a diverse group, which we are really loving, because it's very inspiring to see how many other people are being so creative about how they go about making their dreams come true and how they get their lives on the road. And you know, it's one thing for us, we don't have kids. There are families of 5 and 6 traveling in coaches smaller than ours, with no slides.
Quite a bit smaller,
And seeing the relationships between those couples and their kids and their family, and the love and the connection, and they're just so present and available for one another, but also for other people. People really have time to stop and have a conversation, and a real conversation, not just a hi, how are you, isn't the weather nice conversation, but we've had some really great in-depth conversations with a number of people, and for me that's really high value. I really
That
love.
was one of your biggest fears.
Really was one of my biggest fears, because I had such rich, wonderful relationships back home, and home being Australia and in Colorado, and so that's been a fantastic turning point, I think, for me. I think that's why I'm not sleeping so much. I think you remember last time I was sleeping a lot, and I'm just sleeping like a normal person now.
Yeah, it's because she's energized, I suppose. We all need our
Yeah.
things that make us tick, right? Julie needs the exposure with people, and I need time on the bike to make ourselves tick at our optimal levels. And so,
Well, speaking of that, we've had a few questions come in. Colleen, who asked, is it possible to live this lifestyle and go on the road with a toddler and 2 dogs? And I think, hello. I think that's really already been answered by our last point, is that there are families doing it. I think it would be even easier with a toddler, because you don't need to, they're not at that age where you have to educate and homeschool them to the level that you would with school-aged children. And they're just little, they don't take up much space. So that's going to be good. And 2 little dogs, or even 2 big dogs, that's just fine. We see it all the time. It's very common.
the other question that we got, and we actually had a couple people ask a question, is just how we go with our relationship in such a small space. And for us, we had a huge advantage over some people in that we had both been working from home full time for about a year before we started on this adventure, and so that obviously put us a little bit ahead of the curve in that we were used to working together in a smaller space and having more time together. But that said, it's still a substantially smaller space than we used to have. And one of the things I think is, I think we're as close, or even I would say closer than we were then. One, because you can't let problem get big because there's not room for it. You tend to nip things in the bud a lot quicker because you have so much more exposure. And I think the other piece of it is that we have a lot of fun. It's an amazing lifestyle. We've been out doing something every single weekend since we started this, and creating connection and relationship is a big part of it, is creating all wonderful memories and things that you have in common and share. And so with this lifestyle, my gosh, is there a lot of that. So those are a couple things I'd want to comment on. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, just a couple of things to add to that is, I think, in a bigger home, it's, or even just back at home in a normal life, there are so many other distractions that are going on. There's more things to do with the house or the yard or the garden. There are more things to do with shopping and chores and errands and possibly kids and school and all kinds of distractions, commutes to and from work. You don't have that in this lifestyle, not to the same degree. Yes, we still have our jobs and our chores, and I think that's one thing too, is that we have an agreement on who does what. So Mark does what we call the blue jobs, and I do what's called the pink jobs, and that's a common term used in the RV world. And packing the coach up and down, ready to go on the road, and you have to have a checklist and make sure everything's checked off. It's a really great way to make sure that everything is done when Mark has his designated tasks and I have my designated tasks. So I think that
allows you to be a lot quicker when you each have your designated tasks.
Yeah,
and do have a checklist.
Do have a checklist, and be sure to check the checklist. Check it once and twice and 3 times. But a few times we've missed a couple of things, and that's another blog post. But anyway, we'll probably wrap this one up. But I get that relationship question is really probably the most common question that we get. And from what we've found, not just with us, but with other couples on the road, I think it is because people are having fun. People are not so stressed and feeling the burden of responsibilities that you have in a usual stick and brick home. There's just, more financial burden a lot of the time, more jobs and more things that need to be done. So with that burden off your shoulders, really life's just a lot more carefree and enjoyable, and without that stress on the individuals. You don't bring that into the relationship. And
easy, simple,
simplified life.
If I was to say whether we'll be here 6 months from now, I would say absolutely. I would think I see this going a long way. It'd be tough to go back at this point. If you're debating on this at all, Hopefully you're inspired by us or by some of the other people. We're continually inspired by other people we meet, but if you're considering it at all, I say go for it, because you have so little to lose. If you decide it's not for you, you can easily go back to the normal quote-unquote lifestyle. But if you're like us and you get out and you think, oh my gosh, this is so fun, and oh my gosh, this is way more affordable than I ever thought, and oh my gosh, this is spectacular, and I just can't imagine going back to a normal lifestyle, then like us, then that's what I would hope for you. So happy
Next
holidays
week.
to you
Happy
and
holidays.
yours. And Happy New Year.
And we look forward to seeing you again in the new year.